Hi, Helen. Thanks so much for joining us today. And we're going to talk about understanding stress and the physical
Mm.
responses to the body to start off with.
Yeah, okay. Stress is an interesting one, isn't it? We're hearing about it all the time. And it's a very, very real physiological response that we have. And we have it to a perceived threat or danger. So it could be real. It could be that we're held at knife point, or it could be that one-to-many email, that bill that can't be paid. But whichever it is, it stimulates this hormonal response in our body. So what it does is it's great short term. It's great. It means we can fight or flee. So it gives us satisfaction. It's brilliant if we've got a deadline we want to meet, or if we're going to win that running race, or do a fantastic performance. But long term, then this bodily reaction is not good for us, and that's chronic stress. And when that's happening, we're getting blood sugar levels rising, we're getting heart rate rising, our digestion and metabolism slows down, libido reduces, our microbiome gets stressed and out of balance, and it changes our hormones. So long term, it's a detrimental thing for us, and we seem to be in this very, very busy world right now. Even in lockdown, there's different stresses, aren't there? And so people aren't getting off this stress cycle. And Dr. Chatterley, interesting, he was talking the other day, and he said that he thinks between 70 to 90% of all that doctors are seeing actually is stemming from the physiological response of chronic stress in a body.
I can believe that. And
Yeah.
often when we're dealing with stress, it is a combination, as you say, of many things. And when it gets into the realms of chronic stress, it's a build-up of a few things happening, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if we're looking at there's many ways to deal with stress, but if we're looking at something that's quick, that can get us back into a calm state again, what would be your first course of action? How would you deal with it?
The first protocol is probably through breathing, because breathing is the only part of our autonomic nervous system that we can take control of. And so if I explain stress using the hand model, then we can see how it works. Is that okay?
Yes.
So if this is our spinal cord with all our autonomic nervous system going up, then we've got our reptilian brain here, which is all reproduction and movement. Then we've got the mammalian brain and the amygdala. And the amygdala is like a not so smart security guard. And then on top of that, we've got our cortex and our prefrontal cortex that makes us nice and human, and it gives us that ability to think, problem solve, dream, dream about future things, all those complex things that make us human. And what happens is all information goes through the hypothalamus, and it goes just nanoseconds to the amygdala before it goes to the prefrontal cortex. So if the amygdala sees that it's dangerous and threatening, it will shut off the prefrontal cortex, because the prefrontal cortex slows us down. Thinking slows us down when we need to just react. And when that happens, then we can't think straight. We're just in black and white thinking. We haven't got that big overview. We haven't got that complex solving brain engaged, and we're walking around in our emotions. And the quickest way to pull back down that prefrontal cortex so we can think and get calm again is through breathing. Because when we're stressed, we see that saber-toothed tiger, then we run, and then we get inside that cave and we roll the stone across and go, and that longer out breath is information to the body that we're safe. So it's a biological thing, and when we have that, then the prefrontal cortex comes down and the body can soothe, because it stimulates the parasympathetic response, which is our relaxation response. So that's probably the very first thing to do. Other ways of completing this stress cycle is exercise, because when we're in stress, the body's all geared up to run and move. So by using all the adrenaline up through exercise, and we complete the stress cycle. Other things that can really help bring us down and calm us down are taking downtime. We're on technology so much of the time, and technology is meant to be this thing that gives us more time, but actually erodes all our downtime. And we're constantly thinking, if I just do this email in my break, I'll be ahead. But we actually never get ahead. So it's downtime, getting in nature. Nature, there's lots of research that shows that nature increases our serotonin levels and reduces our cortisol levels. Even just looking at pictures of nature and connecting with people. We're social animals, we're pack animals. So being alone and isolated is actually threatening to us. So we need this connection. And when we do all those things, then we're constantly bringing us back down to a capacity where we can tolerate more stress. So resilience isn't about not having stress. We're all going to have stress, but it's about being able to calibrate ourselves. So we go back down, so we've got that capacity. So instead of working up here and at any moment we're going to flip our lid, we're down here, so we've got room to cope.
Thank you. And I guess ideally is being aware of what's happening in your body all the time to try and get to the point where you can stop that situation happening. So maybe bringing in those techniques before you get to the point of high stress.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And if you can practice the breathing throughout the day, so what I do is I habit stack it. When I first started, I wrote it on Post-its and I put one on my PC, one by my kettle, and one on my bathroom mirror. And I just said breathe. And then I would do about 6 of these breaths where I breathed in for about 7, breathed out for about 11. And that brings it down. And after a while, you get really good at noticing if your body is rising and up, and then you can just instantly calm it down again. So it's really good to habit stack things like breathing and ensure you've got your exercise in as well, just to constantly bring us down. And then, like you say, we become more and more quickly aware of what's going on and where we're at.
Of what you need to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for today, Helen. And we will talk to you again soon.
Lovely. Take care.
Take care.